Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing, of course, my comic load for the week. So, I apologize I haven't been able to post up a comic load video. 2 weeks ago, I just didn't get a chance to read everything. It was still pretty hectic with my my newborn son, and getting very little sleep. If anyone's a parent, they understand that, especially when you have a toddler and a newborn. Sleep is like an SOJ from Diablo 2. You don't find it that often. Wow, that's deep cuts. Like, I didn't know I was going to pull out a Diablo reference. The previous week, right, was annual week. That's what I like to call it, really the fifth week of the month, kind of, is where it was mostly just annuals. And while I could have talked about some of them, I really didn't want to get into it too much. And plus, we did a lot of family stuff. But I'm back here, ready to go. A couple announcements before we get into Comic Load. First and foremost is my next review is going to be going up this week, and that will be of Batman Volume 7. No, 6. Volume 6, Bride of Burglar. So this is going to be happening, coming up this week. In addition to that, my review for the Death of Superman animated film will be up this week for my patrons. I was finally able to sit down and watch it. I downloaded it on iTunes, went through it, has some really strong feelings towards it, so that's going to be over on Patreon for everyone that's on Patreon. Speaking of which, shout out, of course, to my $5 backers, Sammy Coppola of the Bat Brand, Connor of OKayFabe, Paul the Gay Comic Book Geek, and Michael Bennett. I really do appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming down the docket. Just, again, kid, I like to say that's a pretty good excuse. Having a newborn is pretty crazy, but it's given me a chance to watch The Office. I've never watched The Office before. I'm watching it now. My wife and I actually enjoy watching it together. Very rarely does the moons align and we are able to hit the same TV show. Usually it's her kind of pitying me and watching one of my TV shows, or me tolerating one of hers, and us not saying it, but, like, I'm not gonna lie, not the biggest fan of Teen Mom. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure she'd rather not watch The Flash. But that's neither here nor there. In addition to that, I also subscribe to the DC app that's coming out. I bought that year's worth. I mean, they already have my money, but now they're like, hey, have some months free. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so pumped. I'm so in on this. They sold me on it from day one, but they've really been selling it hard. They had that Kevin Smith thing where they sat down, they really dug deep into what they were going to do. All the shows, Titans, Stargirl, Swamp Thing, Young Justice Season 3, Doom Patrol, as well as all the other stuff, the community stuff. It looks pretty fun, so I'm looking forward to that. So I'm wondering, is anyone else jumping in on it, or am I the only person right now? I mean, I know I'm not the only person in the world, but of who watches my videos, I'm a little curious. So yeah, a lot of stuff has been happening. Also rearranged the room too, so that was good. Needed to be done. Really need to clean up that video game section, but I'll show you another time. With that said, let's get right into our comic load, and we're going to start, of course, where we always start, with a little bit of Batman in our life, with Batman issue number 54. Of course, I got both variant covers, right? And beautiful variant covers, to say the least, right? Although this one kind of confuses me. Does this mean that Dick Grayson's original costume is back in canon? Everything in Rebirth says no. A lot of flashbacks show that he still had his New 52 costume. Maybe this is just a play off the variant issue. Nothing in the story shows him having that costume, but that's something that popped in my head. Anyways, the trial for Mr. Freeze is over, and basically Batman is going back to being Batman. Because if you remember, Dick Grayson decided to fill in for Batman while he was on jury duty. And now that jury duty is over, Dick is able to go home. But he doesn't. No, Dick decides to stay with Batman. And the real reason, although he doesn't outwardly say it, is because, well, Batman needs him. See, the relationship between Dick Grayson and Batman is an incredibly unique one, and it's one of the strongest relationships in all of comic books. I would dare say the strongest. More so than Lois Lane and Clark Kent, more so than Batman and Alfred, more so than Peter Parker and Mary Jane. I know that's kind of a bold thing to say, but, well, there's every bit of elements to what make this a fantastic and strong relationship. They were the first superhero sidekick duo, and they're one of the original Golden Age characters. Not just that, but Bruce was not only a father, a brother, a mentor, and a friend to Dick Grayson. So the two have had a very storied, complicated, amazing life and relationship and history with each other. Some of it good, some of it not so good. But there's no one quite closer with Bruce than Dick. I mean, one could argue Pennyworth, right? And I would say Alfred would definitely be, if anyone was, it would be him. Especially that amazing scene from issue number 50 of Batman where, Bruce and Alfred have that tender moment. But Dick Grayson's relationship with Batman is, bar none, one of the strongest. And he sticks around with Batman throughout this issue, just kind of joking around and goofing around and trying to have a normal day with Batman, as normal as it can be. And while this is going on, we get flashbacks to right after Dick's parents die and Bruce tries to take him in. And Bruce is basically trying to console him and trying to find a way to reach this kid. Of course, this ultimately comes to a climax where Bruce kind of has a moment of weakness and reveals truly how he feels. And, well, Dick is, of course, there for the bat. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. The feels is all about this issue. You're going to feel for Bruce in this, and you're going to feel Dick in this, and you're going to feel Dick in this. That came out really wrong, but you're going to feel these characters, the emotion, the love, and the turmoil, too, that's happening in this story. And there's a great panel at the end where Batman allows himself a moment, just a moment, of weakness, and Dick's there for him, which is great. The art is absolutely gorgeous, and the pacing is well done. The only bad I could think, and it's not really bad, but something I would have liked to see, was the fact that it would have been nice to have just a little bit more of Bruce having those moments of weakness, because, again, this is an exploration of his, how should we say, him dealing with Catwoman dumping him dealing with the love of his life leaving him, and how he's trying to cope with it, and his normal coping mechanisms aren't working. So having Dick Grayson hop in there and help him out, it would have been nice to have just even one more panel of him just kind of cracking a little bit. It would have been nice. On the whole, this is a really good issue, and although I'm still pretty butthurt about the fact that Batman and Catwoman aren't getting married, and my hopes for them getting married are still there at the end of this run, but now I'm not going to be fooled. I'm not going to be goaded into believing it again. The stuff that we're getting afterwards is pretty good, and this has to be a classic issue, so pick it up. Speaking of Dick, Nightwing issue number 48. So, I must have missed the Nightwing annual. Oopsie, I'll have to get it. But Nightwing is participating in this massive motorcycle race in order to gain information to help out some friends. To go up against some techno-virus dude, whatever. And that's basically the gist. I know that's not much of a summary, but that's basically all that happens. And the good, the bad, the one that you should get. The art is nice in this, and the action is pretty good in this. I also think the dialogue was pretty sound through and through. Bad, I don't care. The concept, I like the idea of a motorcycle race, but I don't really care about this whole techno story that's going on. I have no investment in it. And the big hook of this was the fact that Silencer is in this issue, but she just abruptly shows up at the end in like the weirdest way possible. Just shows up. No mention of her beforehand. Usually there's foreshadowing. None. And she doesn't even make a grand entrance. She's just there. So yeah. On the whole, Nightwing, unfortunately, I'm not feeling it, and I probably would say skip this story arc until we get to a more interesting one. But hey, that's just me. Talk about interesting, let's do Deathstroke, issue number 35, or Deathstroke versus Batman. This is the climactic finish to the Who is Damian Wayne's father in this. And listen, I think we all knew, and spoiler alert, we all know what the results were going to be. It's all just tugging at back and forth. But But basically, this is a great issue. Bruce and Slade kind of have to work with each other in this issue after them beating the shit out of each other. There's some nice Batman R.I.P. references in this, which is pretty cool. Throwback to Grant Morrison. So I like to see that. And Tony Daniel, too. Should have mentioned him. With Tim Drake and how Tim Drake dealt with this information. And ultimately, who was behind the whole entire thing, which I'm not surprised by. The art in this is gorgeous. The tugs of feel is gorgeous. The final scene with Bruce when he gets the results of who the real father is great. Everything about this is great, with the exception of one thing. It's pretty predictable. We're predictable on who's behind it all, and it's predictable on ultimately what the result is. But the ride is still pretty fun. Deathstroke issue number 35 is a great example of how consistently good Deathstroke has been, and most importantly, how consistently good Christopher Priest has been on this character. And I have to say, outside of Marv Wolfman and George Perez, the best writer for this character so far. I've been loving it. Harley Quinn, issue number 49. Really nice cover there. I like that. Basically, it's Harley Quinn versus Mr. Deathman. Oh, jeez. I almost forgot his name. And her and him tugging back and forth. And that's about it. I've been enjoying Harley Quinn since Humphrey has jumped on. I've been enjoying the Apoptolic run, and I enjoyed this. It was bloody, it was gory, but it's fun, and on a whole, I think Harley is an enjoyable read no matter what. What I like about Humphrey's run is it feels a little bit more akin to grounded in the DC universe, although the last panel of this may say otherwise, but it feels a little bit more connected, which is nice. Pick it up. X-Men Gold, issue number 35. Yeah, I thought this series was coming to an end, but I guess it's still rolling. So basically, Storm's family has been brought back to life. Her mother, her father, and her surrogate mother. You're going to have to forgive me. I don't know Storm's backstory as well because I am only a casual X-Men reader. But they are back to life, and she's basically fighting against the god of death. And yeah, that's basically the issue. A big, massive fight, and hopefully resolve for Storm. As well as some side stuff going on with Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, and, well, a couple other X-members. It's pretty sad to see that X-Men Gold feels so lonely, barren. This comic once had a great lineup with Colossus, Nightcrawler, I almost said Nightwing, Nightcrawler, Storm, Kitty Pryde, Old Man Logan, Rachel Summer, all these people in here, right? And it feels like the team is slowly dwindling down in numbers. This is still a pretty good story, and I enjoy the fact that it focused on Storm. Pick it up if you're an X-Men fan, but other than that, I would say, whatever. Moving on, Weapon X issue number 23. Talk about a comic that I just enjoy a lot. It's not the number one comic I have to read every week, and if anything, it might be the last, but I always enjoy Weapon X, and the reason why is because it's absolute just action fun. This is Deadpool versus the Weapon X Force team, and basically it's a back and forth between that team until Deadpool decides to work with them. Spoilers. If you haven't been picking up Weapon X, pick it up. Pick up the last few issues, right? Pick up when Sabretooth takes control of the team. But it's just a really, really fun read. Yeah. Captain America, issue number 3. I get what's going on. I understand it. I just don't care. I feel like this comic started off so well, and then this issue has done nothing for me. I hate to say that, but it really has done nothing for me. It was just kind of meh. I don't know. Maybe I just don't care about what Captain America is going through right now. Maybe that. Maybe there's not enough of the Sharon Carter stuff. Maybe. I don't know, but yeah, this issue, didn't care for it. As well as I didn't really care too much about Green Lanterns. Basically, this issue is how Simon Baz is tricked into releasing one of the Green Lantern Corps, as well as Superman's greatest villains. And it's kind of cool to see this person come back. and there's a really good action scene in this that saves this comic a bit. But I haven't really cared for Green Lanterns for a while, and I've been trying to think, why haven't I cared for it? It's not because, I mean, Dan Jurgens is a fantastic writer, so it's not him. And it came to me, there's too many Green Lanterns. There's too much going on. This book is supposed to be about Cruz and Baez, and every Green Lantern, even my favorites, are just stealing everything away from everyone. I look forward to when Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, and Green Lanterns disappear, and we get just Hal as the Green Lantern. Nothing against anyone else, but there needs to be some focus. It can't, too many characters spread out. It's like, it's just too much. So yeah. Moving on to Green Arrow issue number 44. So this is Citizen's Arrest, I believe, or Citizens. He's a new villain. And basically he's going after the corrupt individuals in the world who happen to sneak their way through the law system. And Green Arrow is on his hit list. Well, not Green Arrow, but Oliver Queen is. And basically Green Arrow and Black Canary need to work together to get things taken care of with them. I fell off of Green Arrow a little bit, as in that it fell into my backlog for a while, because I wasn't really feeling the stories too much. The Parasite story was whatever. But these past few issues with this, I think Benson's, both of them, are doing a good job with this book. And I'm back on. I'm looking forward to see what's going to go on, what's going to happen going forward. I think the previous issue and this issue are good jumping on points for the Green Arrow comic. And finally, Justice League issue number 7. This is the end of the first story arc, and really the conclusion to the I'm terrible with words. Yeah, we'll go with that. Story arc. Basically, Hawkgirl versus Lex Luthor, Flash trying to control the Still Force, and Martian Manhunter trying to control everyone in between. I like this Justice League. I like Scott Snyder's Justice League. What I don't like is I think he's putting too much focus on each character. Does that make sense? One of Scott Snyder's greatest traits is he can really dig deep into a character and really deep dive into them and really understand them. But I feel as though he's doing it with too many characters in this, and I get Justice League as a team book, but one of the things that I think should be done with a team book is either small, minimum, equal coverage on each character, or one character be the focus and the others are their supporting characters, right? Like Throne of Atlantis is an excellent example. It is about Aquaman, but the other characters are there, they play a pivotal role, but Aquaman's the main focus, right? Tower Babel, it's about Batman. The other characters are there, they play a very pivotal role, but it's about Batman. I think that's kind of the way you have to gear this. If Hawkgirl had been the focus, or Martian Manhunter had been the focus, it would have been, I think, a little bit better. But it's still a good issue. It's still better than the previous Justice League stuff. Not Priest, but the stuff beforehand. But, yeah, still missing a New 52 run. New 52 run was really good. With that said, I think it goes with no surprise that Pick of the Week goes to Batman issue number 54. This issue does a phenomenal job at what it's supposed to do, make you feel. So yes, that is the comic load for the week. I am going to be doing a couple things, so I did have to make this a little bit quicker than I do with my normal videos. Usually I do around 30-minute videos, but this looks like this is going to end in 20 and change. A couple things real quickly, of course, before I go. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, links are down below. I'm a little bit more prevalent on Instagram, playing that Pokemon Go shit. But in addition to that, I want to thank everyone that participated in the live Q&A video that went up a few weeks ago. I plan on doing another one coming up in a month or so. I'm going to give you guys a little bit more leeway and heads up so we can kind of deep dive into a little bit more. But yeah, that's basically it. Good comic week, and I hope everyone's had a good week, and hopefully you can make up for the lack of sleep that I've been having by taking a nap. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.